Hello everyone, this is Manohar Reddy, Department of Cybersecurity, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Today I am going to explain you the concept of OS fingerprinting. OS fingerprinting, and formerly known as operating system fingerprinting. Operating system fingerprinting. So what is meant by OS fingerprinting and how that will help you to find the information of any target. So OS fingerprinting in ethical hacking. So in terms of ethical hacking, OS fingerprinting refers to any method used to determine what operating system is running on a remote computer. What operating system is running on remote computer. So local computer, remote computer. So what type of operating system is operated on remote location, that is remote computer. So here the fingerprinting comes, the user can use that operating system in locally or remotely. So certain way the voice fingerprinting in ethical hacking refers to any method that used to determine what operating system is running on other computer or remote computer. By analyzing certain protocol flags, options, some certain sort of flags, options and data in the packets a device sends onto the network, we can make relatively accurate guesses about the OS that sent to those packets. So by analyzing certain protocols, flags, options and data in the packets of a device and which sends the data to the network, and we can make accurate guesses about the operating system that sent those packets. So whoever using the operating system on remote locations, they can use that different packets, they can use the different flags, different options, different data by sending to the remote location. They can able to find the information related to the remote location operating system. So by pinpointing the exact OS of a host, an attacker can launch a precise attack against a target machine. Precise attacks, that is nothing but important attacks or valuable attacks. Important attacks are valuable attacks against a target mission. In a world of buffer overflows, knowing the exact flavor and architecture of an operating system could be all the opportunity to an attacker needs. So if anybody wants to attack any target system, they have to understand that what the target operating system is used. What the target system is using? Operating system. So if a hacker can determine what type of operating system a targeted computer is running, he or she can work to exploit the vulnerabilities present in that operating system. So operating system doesn't know, but we have to know that operating system. So to know that operating system, what are the types, we have to use this concept of OS fingerprinting. So the OS fingerprinting refers to the method that uses to identify or determine the operating system, what remote computer is running, what actual remote location is running, what remote computer is running, or what remote location is running. So if he or she can identify that operating system, what type of operating system is running on target computer, then he can use that work to exploit the vulnerabilities present in that operating system. Who will use this OS fingerprinting? Who will use this actually? So OS fingerprinting is used by Security professionals, they are using all the different types of roles and responsibilities. They are using all the different types of roles and responsibilities. They can use that roles, they can use that responsibilities as a security professionals and hackers for mapping remote networks and determining which vulnerabilities might be present to exploit. Which vulnerabilities might be present to exploit. So, which type of vulnerabilities are presented, which type of attacks are presented, to identifying them, they are using this fingerprinting technique. And ethical hackers to figure out what type of operating system is being used by a target computer on network. So ethical hackers also to figure out that what type of operating system is being used by the target computer on a network. So ethical hackers are limited to their functioning. So governments or any other ethical companies, they are offered to do this job for ethical hackers. They can use that job for limited purpose. And voice fingerprinting works only for packets that contains full-fledged TCP connection. That contains what? Full-fledged TCP connection. So that is, the TCP connection should have a synchronous acknowledgement and acknowledgement connection. So because of these three uses, because these three connections, we can say that it is a full-fledged TCP connection. We can say that it is a full-fledged TCP connection. And what are the types of operating system printing voice fingerprinting techniques? What are the types of operating system fingerprinting techniques we are using? So one is active OS fingerprinting, and the second one is passive OS fingerprinting. So OS fingerprinting is nothing but it is a method. It is method to determine. It is method to determine what type of operating system, what type of OS used by remote user or remote location, or remote system. So remote user or remote location or remote system, what type of operating it is actually using. So there are two types of voice fingerprintings are there. One is active voice fingerprinting and the second one is passive overprinting. So first one, active voice fingerprinting. So active voice fingerprinting. Active voice fingerprinting involves actively determining a targeted PC's OS. So it is directly involves to determine the OS operating system. What type of OS is used by the location, remote system. So which is done by sending carefully crafted packets. Sending carefully crafted packets to the target system and examining the TCP IP behavior of received response. TCP IP behavior of received response. So the target system is to be identified what type of operating system it is used by sending carefully crafted packets to that remote system. And here the active fingerprinting works. It works by sending packets to the target and analyzing the packets that are sent back. So here the packets are to be targeted on the target machine and analyzing the packets, then they can send back to the original destination. Almost all active fingerprinting these days is done with the Nmap tool. So there are different types of tools are there. By installing and by understanding the tool how to use, we can say that it performs for active fingerprinting techniques. So almost all active fingerprinting in nowadays is done with the Nmap tool, Nmap or Zenmap tool, Nmap or Zenmap tool. And the second one, passive voice fingerprinting. Passive voice fingerprinting. which is a more effective way of avoiding detection or being stopped by a firewall, and it is examines of passively collected sample of packets from host. Passively collected sample of packets from host. So it doesn't involves directly to identifying what type of operating system. It uses third party, or it uses any other effective ways for avoiding detection or being stopped by a firewall. So they are using a different ways to identifying that what type of operating system used by the remote location. And passive fingerprinting uses PCAP, that is nothing but packet capture PCAP API, PCAP API. So which is an API which used to find out the packet capturing process, capturing process. And the passive voice fingerprinting is less accurate than active voice fingerprinting. Obviously, passive voice fingerprinting is not directly connected with the operating system or targeted operating system, but active voice fingerprinting operated directly involved with the targeted operating system. But maybe a technique chosen by an attacker or penetration tester who wants to avoid detection. So those who wants to avoid detection, they can use the technique based on their choice. Passive fingerprinting can make a guess of target's OS. So what type of OS it is being used by, what type of kernel it is being used by, what type of version being it is used by. All the information it must be displayed, because the different OSs have different TCP/IP implementations. They can have different types of TCP/IP implementations. So here the architecture that uses what type of OS fingerprinting uses, and what operation that performs in the passive mechanism or active mechanism. So what are the tools that are supported to analyze that network traffic or application level. So we'll see in the diagram. In the diagram we'll see all these perspectives. So here the voice fingerprinting is a mechanism or method. It operates in the system to operate the what type of operating system used by remote location or remote user or remote desktop. So what type of operating system used by remote location or remote user or remote system. So to find that operating system, what type of operating system it is used, we have to use that concept called voice fingerprinting. So there are two types of voice fingerprinting out there. One is passive voice fingerprinting, and the second one is active voice fingerprinting. One is what? Passive voice fingerprinting, and the second one is active voice fingerprinting. So here the passive voice fingerprinting analyzes that network traffic analysis. It does not involve to identify what type of operating system directly. It uses some network traffic analysis process. to determine that by sending different packet crafts, they can use that methods to find the what type of operating system is used by that tool. So here the network traffic analysis process helps to find the what type of operating system of voice fingerprinting. So here the P off is one type of process, and the sniff3 is one type of process tool, which those two processes are those two tools that are being implemented for passive voice fingerprinting. The two are implemented for passive voice fingerprinting. And second one is what? Active voice fingerprinting. So there are two ways that we have to understand the process is active voice fingerprinting. One is application level voice fingerprinting, and the second one is TCP/IP stack voice fingerprinting. One is what? Application level voice fingerprinting. Second one is TCP/IP stack OS fingerprinting. So these two processes can have different types of methods that uses application level for banner grubbing method and handshaking method. These are all the methods that you are using for this processes for this processes for these implementations. And these are all the tools that are tools used by OS fingerprinting in active way. So what are those tools here? So before the tools are understanding, so here active processes involves the TCP responses as one method, ICMP responses as one method, ISN internet sequence number analysis is one method, and time analysis is also one method. So all these methods or techniques are implemented with all the tools. So first one is what Nessus tool, and the second one is Nmap tool, third one is Amap tool, and fourth one is Nmap tool, and Sniff P3 tool, Xprobe tool, Nmap tool, and Xprobe tool, and Nmap tool, and Cron OS tool. So for each and every category, the tools that we are using for this, Cron OS is using for time analysis, Nmap is using for ISNS analysis, and Nmap and Xprobe used by ICMP responses, and the next Nmap and Sniff3 and Xprobe used by this TCP responses, and the next Amap is used for only handshaking, and the next Amap and Nmap Nessus tools are used for banner grubbing. So these are all the types of OS fingerprinting mechanisms, and for these types the network traffic analysis and application level and TCP/IP stack are the methods that you are implementing along with the processes what POF, Sniff3, banner grubbing, handshaking, TCP responses, ICMP responses, and ISN analysis and time analysis. So for all these processes are being implemented in all the tools like Nmap tool, Amap tool, Nessus tool, Sniff3 tool, Xprobe tool, and Cron OS tool. So tools used for OS fingerprinting. So here we see that POF, passive OS fingerprinting, that states that passive OS fingerprinting. So here it is an OS fingerprinting tool that utilizes an array of sophisticated, purely passive traffic fingerprinting mechanism, to identify the players behind any incidental TCP/IP communications. So it offers a little single normal form asynchronous request and without interfering in any way. And here there are different versions, but version 3 is complete rewrite of the original code base. So version 3 is a complete rewrite of the original code base and incorporating a significant number of improvements to network level fingerprinting and introducing the ability to reason about application level payloads. So here we have the website that understand that more in passive OS fingerprinting in core dump. So this is one type of tool that we are using for passive OS fingerprinting. And here EtherCap. Second one is what? EtherCap. So EtherCap is also a passive OS fingerprinting. It is a comprehensive suite for man-in-the-middle attacks. So it is a comprehensive tool for man-in-the-middle attack. And it features sniffing of live connections, content filtering on the fly, and many other interesting tricks. So it supports active and passive dissections of many protocols and includes many features for network and host analysis. Many features for network and host analysis. So these two are the some important tools, EtherCap and POF3. POF3. So these two are very important tools. And the third one is Nmap is also very important, and it is an active OS fingerprinting tool. It is an active OS fingerprinting tool. So Nmap is a free and open source utility. It is a free and open source utility, and it contains network discovery and security auditing. It contains what? Network discovery and security auditing purpose. And many systems and network administrators also find it useful for tasks such as network inventory, managing service, upgrade schedules, and monitoring host or service uptime. And here Nmap uses raw IP packets. Nmap uses raw IP packets that are secret packets in novel ways to determine what hosts are available on the network. So that is nothing but what type of computers are available, what type of either local or remote, what type of operating systems, what type of computers are available on the network, and what services those hosts are offering, and what operating system they are running, what are the services, what are the operating system types, what are the port numbers, types of packet filters, everything that displays with the help of this Nmap tool. So here, what type of packet filters and firewalls are in use? And dozens of other characteristics also. The OS fingerprinting tool was designed to rapidly scan large networks, but works fine against a single host. If we do not have the Nmap command installed on your Linux system, then we can install it using this following command like $um install nmap website, that is http://nmap.org. So visit that website and download the appropriate compatible type of Nmap, and compatible with the operating system and compatible with type of bit. So then download it, then install it on the system. And fourth one, Xprobe 2 is also active OS fingerprinting tool. So it is an active OS fingerprinting tool with a different approach to operating system fingerprinting. And it relies on fuzzy signature matching. Probabilistic guesses, and multiple simultaneous matches, and a signature database. By analyzing these factors of a packet, all these factors of the packet like matching, what is the simulation matches, signature database, all these factors, by analyzing these factors of a packet, we may be able to determine the remote operating system. So this system is not 100% accurate, This system is not 100% accurate and works better for some operating system than others, and it works better for some other operating system than this. But before attacking system, it is required to that you know what operating system host is available. What type of operating system is hosting the website or hosting its sites available. What type of operating system hosting is available, hosting that website is available. So that is the X probe 2 for active voice fingerprinting. So here we can see the how voice fingerprinting help with the help of Nmap tool. So here the Nmap we can type like Nmap space minus A and localhost. Nmap space minus A localhost. If I type that machine, if I type that command, it displays the what type of operating system that we are using on the system. So here we can mention that target system, and here it gives the report as a response with the help of following documents. So here observing that Nmap scan report for local host and host is up and not shown 995 closed ports, 995 closed ports, and here the type of what type of ports are assigned. So TCP port 21 port, 22 port, 139, 149, 63. All these ports are using the different types of states and different types of services. So what are those services? TCP wrapped service, SSH is one service, and SSH host key is one service. Along with that, all the services that are often used by this operating system. And the second one is what here? The second one is what HTTP methods that we are using, and what is the operating system information. OS Linux, and Linux kernel is also Linux. Kernel is also a Linux. And the third one, the host script results. Host script result, which displays the information about what operating system having the server name. What operating system having a server name. So here the OS is what? Unix, Samba 3.6.9. Computer name is what? DALEK, and domain name is what? FQDN is what? DLEC, and the system time is what? This one. So like the way it displays all the hosting and service of service detection of the services using with the help of operating system. With the help of operating system, what type of operating system used in the targeted machine. So it displays type of operating system, type of kernel that we are using, type of server that we are using, everything that displays in the information. So this is all about the what type of operating system that we are using on the remote location by using the concept of voice fingerprinting. By using the concept of voice fingerprinting. So here the first present line indicates that the printout. I discovered that Debian version of OpenSSH running from 4 to 22. That version of OpenSSH is only compatible with the Debian based Linux distributions such as Ubuntu, Xubuntu, and of course the original Debian in the first line. But in the second line indicates that printouts of the information that came directly from OS kernel. What type of OS kernel? It's a Linux that is using. And the third line indicates that information on the Nmap scan got about the Samba server that I am running. And it says I have Samba 3.6.9, the Unix version. Although the Unix and GNU Linux kernels are different, the Samba will say it's the Unix version for all Unix and Linux distros. Or Unix and Linux distros. So these are all the report that we are getting by doing the voice fingerprinting. So once again we will revise the topic what we discussed in this session. So here the first, what is meant by voice fingerprinting. So it is a method which is ethical hacking, and it is refers to the method that use it to determine what type of operating system running on remote computer. Running on remote computer. So by sending some packets, by sending some flags, by sending some options, that can able to find that different types of packets. That can able to find the different types of packets. And who will use the ethical hackers or security professionals? They can use with the help of this full-fledged TCP connection. With the help of this full-fledged TCP connection. And what are the types of operating systems? What are the types of operating systems? So one is active operating system, and the second one is passive operating system. So what is the operating system types? Active and passive fingerprinting are using. And here the architecture of OS fingerprinting that uses with the help of types and methods and tools that we are using. Methods and tools and processes that being implemented to find what type of operating system is using on other operating system. And there are different types of tools are there. Some passive tools are there, some active tools are there. So here POF is one type of passive OS tool, and the second one EtterCap is also one type of passive operating system fingerprinting tool. But Nmap is one active OS fingerprinting tool, and Xprobe is also one active OS fingerprinting tool. But after installing Nmap in your system, on your system, you can find that what type of operating system used by the target system. Suppose if we take like www.flipkart.com, if I type like www.flipkart.com on our system, that displays all the information about the Flipkart using what type of operating system and what type of kernel that is using and what type of server also that is using. So this is all the information we'll get about the operating system. So because of we get all this operating system information, we can say that this concept is OS fingerprinting. We can say that this is a OS fingerprinting. So that is about all the information about OS fingerprinting. But we have to know that what type of tools that we are implemented for iOS fingerprinting is necessary. So this is all about OS fingerprinting. Thank you all.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.